But here we go. Here we go with this. But I'm getting back to the Tony Hilder story.
Yeah.
Now, these are some of the characters that have come and gone in your...
I mean, I was ripped off on the one that went into Pulp Fiction. I mean, big time.
And we'll get to that in a second,
Yeah.
but I want to keep it to the Baharis a little bit because it's my understanding that George Mottola came in and out of there quite a bit too and did some independent production of modern. And your name I've seen on songwriting credits with George Mottola.
Well, George came in as an A&R man with Tender Records, and I was associated as an A&R man with Tender Records.
And I want to get to that in a second too, but sticking with modern just for a second.
Yeah.
Now, you went over there and wanted to do some stuff there.
I really didn't do much of anything at modern.
Okay.
Porky Harris was going in there, and he used to play with Big J McNeely.
Sure.
And Big J I was a fan
Now
of Big
you're
J.
talking Porky Harris. You know, I interviewed, he lived in Denver, Colorado. I think he's passed away since.
Mm-hmm.
But I interviewed him on the phone, and he talked about being taught by T-Bone Walker to play the guitar.
Porky was good.
He was a white blues guitar player. Not that many. There's plenty now, but back then.
Porky was white, but he was black. I mean, he was black inside. And
did you know Jimmy Wright, with whom he played, the drummer? These guys were all out of Huntington Park.
I'm just trying to think of all the guys, but when you take a look at the guys, sideman, Glenn Campbell was the sideman.
So anyway, after modern, what was your next step?
Well, modern really wasn't in it. I did a thing. I wrote a thing with Maya Angelou, Mambo Like in Africa, and Maya's done fairly well for herself.
Was that on
and then over at Specialty, it was, what's this guy, Sonny and Cher?
Oh, Sonny Bono, yeah.
was a friend of mine, and I walked in one day, and he said, hey, he called me Tony. He says, listen, you gotta hear this, man. He says, I said, man, that's you. I said, you can't sing. He said, I know. And he said, I got this chick, right? And the chick was, she's young, and then, that was Cher.
Yeah. This chick's too young to fry, as they used to say.
Yeah. Well, I think that...
Was she all, like 14 years old or something?
I don't know how old she was. I think she was maybe 16. But Sonny was hitting on it, and then eventually wound up marrying her, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, well, history continues.
Yeah.
So were you impressed with her ability at the time?
Oh, hell yes. I was very impressed with her ability. Wait a minute. Am I here with this Steve Propos? Wait a minute. What is this? What's going on here?
Yeah. You're a juvenile delinquent. Lee Marvin has just arrested you. Now, so after modern, you went over to Specialty?
Well, I mean, I went over and hung out around Specialty. They had Little Richard and who's the guy that I got a gal named Boney Maroney.
You mean Larry Williams?
Yeah. I thought that was cool, but my sort of entree into that sort of thing was Aggie Dukes, the Zulu Queen.
Oh, here we go, Aggie Dukes.
Ba-bum. She had a voice, sort of a bass voice. Oh God, Aggie was a trip. She was something else. And Aggie used to play over at Ben Hollis. I ran the show over there, the Bongo Mania, Tony Hilder's Bongo Mania for 2.5 years.
Check this out.
Oh my God. There's. That's a woman. Well, I mean, I was half a woman, half a man. I don't know about Aggie. Yes, I did know about Aggie. I was her manager. And So he got started up in San Francisco at AMS 440, I think, and then there was another guy got started at AMS 440, they call him the African Queen, Johnny Mathis.
Thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, I met Johnny. I met Johnny.
How much trouble can one show get in?
You know,
and we're starting early.
Johnny, I stood on a machine, a record machine, looking over this little space at the top of the room. In fact, he'd play nothing but Johnny Mathis records at the party. And I looked over, and they were having some sort of orgy or something in the Hollywood days. But I was looking over, just looking. That's all. I wasn't involved in that sort of thing. Johnny had bought a Jaguar. It was really cool. And he made it. I'm just trying to think of all those guys. You meet people in the industry that it comes and goes. But I wasn't in love with the industry. I mean, I was using the industry as a platform for what later became politics, and I got out of that and into...
But you had an earlier platform, you told me. You were a professional party guest or party giver or party supplier.
I would put on parties, yeah. I had two dates at one time. One girl looked sort of like Kim Novak, and you can't let that go. And then I was going with Dorothy Cohen, and I got somebody out across the country. Yeah, in fact, people thought I was crazy because I would have a multicolored disc. Like this, and 50 or 100 records in front of you, and you've got one that's gold vinyl, and it's a multicolored label. You've got somebody paying attention. So they put this sucker on, and somebody said, listen, I'd like to get 500.
Yeah.
500.
It stood out from the pack. Huh?
Yeah. He said, he said, but I want a deal. I didn't know what a deal was. I said, well, yeah, you got the deal, right, So he would send in money. They would send in money, and then finally there was some guy, Davidson, outside of I think Kansas City or something like that. Davidson had a large distribution deal. He called up and says, "I'll take a 500, then I'll take 1,000." He said, "Change that order," and apparently it was just going nuts. People were hearing this on some disc jockey out in the middle of nowhere, and the kids were saying, "Wow!" And that was my hit. And Davidson called in. He said, "Well, you haven't sent any records." I said, "You're not going to pay me, are you?" He said, "Oh, well, I pay every." I said, "No, you're not. I checked your thing. I checked your act." He said, "Well, I'm old enough to be your father." I said, "I don't give a damn if you're old enough to be my grandfather. You're not going to get any records without giving me, money. Money. You give me money, I'll give you records. Money first, records second." That's how it works with me. So I wasn't going to put up with any crap from these guys, the old guys and the seasoned. I just didn't go for that. Crazy.
Did he send you money?
Oh yeah,
Good.
He did. No, otherwise I'd bring somebody out and break his arm.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, Bob Hafner, you told me he was a bongo player at Venice Beach, remember?
Well, I was...
Dan, what's your latest song that you wrote?
This guy doesn't love California anymore.
I want to hear that soon.
Yeah, or you look out.
Thanks. Judy, went to WPMD, had a great show.